You followed every rule, booked the flight, packed the bag, arrived early, but then, bam, the gate agent says, "Sorry, you're not flying today." And just like that, your trip is toast. Let's talk about why this is happening more than ever in 2025 and how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. All right, buckle in, because today we're diving into 11 surprisingly common reasons people are being denied boarding in 2025. Some of them are obvious, but others, you'd never see them coming. Let's kick things off with one of the biggest troublemakers in the airport world. 1. The name game gone wrong. Okay, how many of you go by a nickname? Jess instead of Jessica? Mike instead of Michael? Yeah, that little shortcut might feel harmless until you try to board an international flight. See, TSA doesn't care what your friends call you. They care what your ID says. And if your ticket doesn't match your government-issued ID exactly, they can block you from getting on the plane. Not kind of matches, not close enough, exactly. One poor soul booked her flight as Rebecca Schultz. Her passport? Rebecca Ann Schultz. That missing middle name was enough to put her on the "we're gonna need to talk" list. And no, it doesn't matter if it was just a typo or if you've flown with that name before. The system flags you, and suddenly your seat becomes someone else's. If you spot the error early enough, most airlines will let you fix it. For a lovely fee, of course, usually around $100, which stings sure, but not as much as missing your cousin's wedding in Tuscany. Catch it at the airport, though. Things get dicey. Your best bet is to sprint calmly to the airline's main counter and bring every piece of ID you've ever owned. Smile, be nice, beg a little, hope the agents had their coffee. Bottom line, don't mess around with names. Match your ID, middle names included, and double-check everything before clicking that final confirm booking button. 2. Passport problems that sneak up on you. All right, let's say your name's perfect. You breeze through TSA only to get smacked down by your passport. You'd think as long as your passport hasn't expired, you're good, right? Nope, not even close. Most countries have this sneaky little rule called the 6-month validity requirement. That means your passport must be valid for at least 6 months beyond your arrival date, even if your trip is only a week long. That December trip to Japan, if your passport expires in March, you're not going anywhere. But that's not all. Airlines and immigration officers are getting picky about passport conditions. I'm talking about water damage, frayed covers, smudged ink, pages falling out. Anything that makes it look like it's been through a washing machine or a toddler's art class? Yeah, that's a red flag. Even how many blank pages you have matters. Some countries require 2 or more blank pages just for stamps. If you don't have them, you're out of luck. So before you even think about printing a boarding pass, do a full passport audit. Flip through the pages, check the expiration, make sure it's in decent shape. If it's sketchy, don't risk it. Renew it, because once you're at the airport, there's no fixing a janky passport. 3. The transit visa trap. This one's the silent killer of international travel plans. You book your flight with a short layover in another country, just a connection, right? You're not even leaving the airport, except in some places just passing through still requires a visa. A traveler found this out the hard way on a trip from London to India with a layover in Istanbul. Since he booked with 2 different airlines, he had to recheck his luggage, which meant going through Turkish immigration, which meant needing a transit visa, which he didn't have. So guess who didn't fly that day? Even crazier? He had done the exact same route before, but last time it was on a single airline and the connection didn't require rechecking bags. Different ticket structure equals totally different rules. Some countries require transit visas, even if you're just walking from Gate 4 to Gate 9. And airlines don't always make that clear. That tiny detail could be the difference between catching your flight or booking a hotel in the departure lounge. Want to avoid this trap? Research every leg of your trip. Don't rely on airline websites alone. Check embassy pages, government travel advisories, and forums where frequent flyers spill the truth. 4. The Real ID Reality Check. Let's talk about domestic travel. You'd think flying within the US in 2025 would be easy, but without a real ID, you're not going anywhere. As of May 7th, 2025, anyone 18 or older needs a driver's license with that little gold star or enhanced marking to board domestic flights. No star, no flight. TSA is strict about it, and many people don't even realize their ID isn't compliant. Sure, a passport works too, but who wants to haul that around for a quick hop to Chicago? Do yourself a favor, check your license now. If there's no star, visit your state's DMV site or bring your passport as a backup. You've still got time, but not forever. 5. Carry-on chaos. You know what makes gate agents break into a cold sweat? Oversized carry-ons. People try to sneak mini suitcases past them like it's a game of airport Tetris. But those size check bins at the gate? They are not for decoration. Airlines are now enforcing carry-on size limits, like hall monitors with a tape measure, 22 times 14 times 9 inches, including wheels, including handles, no exceptions. Sometimes even perfectly sized bags get flagged. Maybe the overhead bins are full, maybe they need to balance weight, or maybe the agent just isn't in the mood. And if your bag doesn't comply, you're either gate checking it or you're not flying. Just ask the world-renowned violinist who refused to check her priceless antique instrument. She missed the flight. And the concert. No exceptions were made, even for art. Lesson: check the size, expect the possibility of gate checking, and never turn a bag argument into a scene, because airline agents have the final say and they will not lose that debate. 6. Missing the check-in window. Think showing up 60 minutes early is enough? Not anymore. Airlines have gotten ruthless about check-in deadlines, miss them by seconds, and you're locked out systematically. There's no override, no "let me talk to the manager," no mercy. Domestic flights typically require check-in at least 45 minutes before departure. Some airports want 90 minutes if you're checking bags. And international flights? You better be there 2 to 3 hours early, minimum. Even if your flight is delayed, even if the kiosk was broken, even if you've been standing in line the whole time. Doesn't matter. Once the cutoff hits, that system slams shut like Fort Knox. Want to avoid this heartbreak? Check in online exactly 24 hours before your flight. Arrive with extra buffer time, and don't trust the usual routine. Airlines quietly change their policies all the time. 7. The gate closed. While you blinked. Few things are more soul-crushing than arriving at the gate, watching your plane through the window, and realizing the door's already shut. Yup, you missed it. Even if you're 15 minutes early, even if the plane is still sitting there. Once the gate is closed, you're not getting on. Airlines often close gates early if everyone boards ahead of schedule, or they move gates and forget to announce it clearly, leaving you at the wrong one while the plane taxis away. One guy arrived 20 minutes before takeoff at the right gate and still got bumped. Why? Because they moved up the departure by 10 minutes. Didn't tell him. Gave away his seat. Brutal. Always go directly to your gate. Stay nearby. Watch the monitors like a hawk. And for the love of your travel plans, don't wander off thinking you've got time to grab a smoothie. 8. Overbooking shenanigans. Here's something that still shocks people in 2025. Airlines routinely sell more seats than they actually have. Why? Because they bet some passengers won't show up. When does everyone show up? Someone gets bumped. Sometimes they ask for volunteers with travel vouchers or gift cards. But when no one bites, they start picking people based on check-in time, fare class, or loyalty status. And yes, even if you have a confirmed seat, you can be told to step aside. But don't panic. You do have rights. In the US, you may be entitled to compensation up to $1,350 if you arrive significantly late due to being bumped. Here's the trick: not every agent will tell you that, so you have to ask. Check in early, know your rights, and don't be afraid to push for compensation if you're involuntarily bumped. 9. Your attitude. Yes, really. You've got your documents in order, your bag fits, and you're right on time. But the final hurdle? You. In 2025, your attitude is under the microscope. If you come off angry, sarcastic, or just visibly irritated, gate agents can and will deny you boarding. No discussion, no appeal. Even if you're stone cold sober, smelling like a cocktail, or showing signs of stress or illness can flag you. And yes, hygiene matters. Offensive odors or excessive cologne can lead to complaints and a denied seat. In today's post-pandemic world, if you look sick, you might be sidelined. So stay calm, be respectful, and look and smell like someone people want to sit next to for the next 5 hours, because one bad mood can cost you an entire flight. 10. The glitch gremlin. Sometimes it's not you, it's the system. In 2025, technical glitches are grounding more travelers than ever, especially those booking through third-party sites. Maybe your payment went through, but your ticket never reached the airline, or your name shows up as Timothy instead of Timothy. Or worse, the system claims you don't exist at all. Even having the same name as someone on a watch list can land you in security limbo. And don't get too comfortable with airline advice. Plenty of travelers have been denied boarding because an agent gave them the wrong visa info. So what's your defense? Proof. Screenshot every confirmation, print backups, call the airline to confirm, and check visa rules on official embassy sites. When tech fails, documentation is your best armor. 11. The airline's own internal disaster. And then there's the ultimate gut punch. Getting denied boarding because of the airline's own internal chaos. You did everything right. You showed up early, breezed through security, waited at the gate like a model traveler, and then just before boarding, they hit you with a, "Sorry, we can't board you today." Why? Because the airline ran out of staff. Or the plane got swapped for a smaller one. Or someone on the crew hit their maximum working hours. Or the system glitched out 5 minutes before takeoff. None of this is your fault, but you're the one stuck rebooking, rerouting, or rethinking your entire day. Sometimes they'll toss you a hotel voucher or rebook you on a flight 2 days later to a city you didn't even ask for. Other times, you get nothing but a shrug. But here's where knowing your rights matters. If you're flying in or out of the EU, you may be entitled to compensation under EC 261. In the US, it depends on how delayed you are and the airline's policies. Either way, don't just accept the first excuse. Ask for the reason in writing and press for their official policy on operational denials. Knowing what to ask for puts you back in control. Flying in 2025 is a minefield of rules. One mistake and boom, vacation canceled. Run through this list before you fly and save yourself a world of stress and snacks. Hit like, subscribe to channel, and I'll see you in the sky, not stuck at the gate.